Today we are going to make a batch of cat loaf. You will notice that we have a smaller batch of ingredients than what I usually start with, and that's because we're making food for cats. Cats are carnivores, which means they are going to have a meat-based diet, so you'll notice there's not a whole lot of vegetable matter in here. This is mostly a protein, fat, little bit of carb, for a little bit of fiber diet for cats. This one will be a raw fed diet because I am going to grind the bone. I'm going to use my big old 1 horsepower carnivore grinder because I've got to get chicken leg bone through there. It should handle it with no trouble. We are not going to use our eggshells in this recipe because we have the ground bone for our calcium and mineral source. If you have cats who have been eating kibble or canned diets and they've never eaten raw food before and you're a little concerned about it, first of all, start slow, offer them little bits and pieces of things to see what they like. But we do have a course on homemade food for cats that teaches you how to transition your cat and also has more recipes in it. If you only have 1 or 2 cats and you make this batch, it is going to make more than 1 meal. It can be stored in the refrigerator for a few days. Otherwise, you can freeze small portions of it, thaw them out as needed. Cats really don't like leftovers, so make sure that when you give them the meal, if it's coming out of the refrigerator, warm it up to at least room temperature, preferably to body temperature. There's multiple ways that you can do that. But again, this is going to have ground bone. Unless you can get that really finely ground, you're going to want to feed this recipe raw. So our ingredients for cat loaf include 9 ounces of chicken leg with the skin and the bones, 6 ounces of chicken heart, and that counts as muscle meat, 4 whole eggs, these are organic fresh eggs from our backyard, 5 ounces of pork muscle meat, 4 ounces of chicken liver, 3 ounces of mussels, and I don't have fresh mussels, so I'm using freeze-dried. A hydrated mussel would be about 1 ounce, so I'm using 3 of the freeze-dried mussels. 2 ounces of butternut squash, that's a good fiber and prebiotic source. 3 teaspoons of flaxseed and 2 teaspoons of ground turmeric, and those are for some omegas and trace minerals. Okay, I am going to run this through the grinder a second time, just to make sure that everything is well mixed. So we have this really nice high meat diet for kitty cats. And if your cat prefers gently cooked, as long as you are using a small enough die, which is the front piece that all of the grinder pushes it through, if the bone is ground small enough, which this actually is, then this could be gently cooked if I had a cat who would not eat raw. All of ours are raw fed, they're raw eaters, so it's not a problem for me. But if I wanted to gently cook this, I could put it either in a slow cooker, just as, just pour it in there, cook it on low heat for a couple of hours, or it could be put in a pan in the oven at about 300 to 325 and just let it cook depending on the thickness of your pan. You still want it to be pretty rare so the juice is running, and have your cat try it that way. But this is appropriate for all kitties.